What is the podcast? That is my question to you.
There's no such thing as a podcast. It's a conspiracy theory. Podcasts don't exist.
Well, you're here today on What is the Podcast? I think that's the first. Is that the first time we've announced what the name is?
Yeah.
Or like,
are we in like episode 9 or 10 or something, and now we have a name?
Yeah. So the first, the first 9 episodes, 10 episodes that you heard, we didn't have a name, and now we're here with a name. Yep. It is What is the Podcast? Which is
a genius name.
It is actually a genius AI genius name. Yeah, I think it fits it well. Is it music? Is it conspiracy theory? Is it dumb? Yep. Is Paul dumb? We don't know. What is the podcast?
I think this episode is about your journey to better living through weight loss, isn't it?
I didn't think we were going there, but I guess, yes, when I listened to this record, I was much smáller than I am today. Right. So, so that's what we're doing. Last episode, we did a wheel of albums. I thought we were going with albums that we have listened to a bunch, as far as like these albums shaped you. And then Paul went the promoter way and put a bunch of his band's records on the list and made me feel like a total shitbag.
To be fair, these are albums that I legitimately like.
I know that. But when we had
the reason why Radar isn't on there.
Very disrespectful, first of all. But when we discussed it, you were like, "Oh yeah, put a Marillion record on there," and blah blah blah. And I was like, "Okay, cool. Then I'm gonna put." And then you completely swerved me and put Katsulu bands on it. Not that I'm not excited to listen to them, and I've actually already listened to them, but to review them is what I mean. But you get what I'm saying, right? You swerved me. Can you admit to the swerve?
No. What? I adapted to modern times. Come on, man. Get with the program.
I'm sure this was one of those things where we were talking about it before the episode, but we were still recording. So I'm going to find that clip. I'm going to put it in right here. And see, you're a liar.
So this has now become the Geico commercial with the red flag, where we go back and look at the footage.
What a boomer thing to say. You're talking about Geico commercials? Jesus Christ, dude.
Everybody needs insurance, Charlie. Are you saying you don't need insurance?
This would be fucking amazing if we were sponsored by Geico, but we are not. We could argue about it, and then that would be great. But we're not sponsored by Geico. So
we're sponsored by Mika. Is that true?
Yes. Today we are sponsored by Mika. Did you, and I want to ask you this seriously before we start.
Okay.
Did you listen to every song fully through?
Yes. I listened to the whole album twice.
Oh, okay. I did not expect that from you. I expected you to go, oh, this song fucking sucks. Click. Oh, I'm annoyed. Click. There's no fucking 18-minute guitar solo. Click. That's what I felt like how you would have listened to this record.
No, I'm going to prepare seriously for your garbage music takes. Yes, absolutely.
So starting off, you already hate this record.
I mostly hate the record, if that makes sense.
Okay. All right. Do you want to just go song by song on it?
No, I would like to start with how old were you when you, like, did you get into it immediately? First time you heard it, you're like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever. I want to know how old you were. Like, were you failing gym class at the time?
Okay.
What else was going on in your life?
Okay. So actually, because I listened to it a few times as a reminder, because this is not one of those records that I listen to all the time religiously. It'll be like, oh yeah, this record, I loved this record, and I'll put it on, and maybe every 2 years or so. So I did some research, and oh, there goes the page. Okay, so this album, it's called Life in Cartoon Motion. I kept saying Life in Color last episode, which is wrong. Here's the Wikipedia rundown. Debut album released by British singer-songwriter Mika. The album was produced by Greg Wells, mixed by Wells, co-production on 2 songs by Jody Marr and John Merchant. Any idea who those people are?
No.
Neither do I. The album was released via Casablanca Records on the 5th of February 2007 in the United Kingdom, and the 27th of March in 2007 in the United States. Okay. The genre: dance pop, glam rock, disco. Did you get disco vibes?
No, I didn't get any disco vibes.
I didn't get disco vibes.
I got a lot of trying hard vibes.
Trying hard vibes.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So when I was going back and listening to this, I actually recall. So as I was listening to it, I was like, oh my God, I was going through like the biggest breakup of my life at the time. I was with this girl for like 2 years in high school. So at this time, it came out in February 2007, but I was probably, so I would have been 16 when the record came out. And then, but by the time I listened to it, I was not with this girl. So there's a lot of running themes of losing someone, and I was 17, so obviously I was shattered. So yeah, and another thing I was thinking about too while I was listening to it front to back is how much at that time pop punk was a thing, emo was a thing, where I would listen to all of these pop punk records, emo records, metal records, and eventually it got to the point where like, oh my God, I'm so overwhelmed with all of these kind of similar sounding things that I think that listening to this, not only did it come at during a breakup in high school, but also at a point where I'm like, oh my God, this is the most different sounding thing that I like. And it's not like top 40 stuff. I think it became top 40 stuff. But that is a rundown of where we are.
So this was the first big crossroads of young Charles Thornton's life, right? So that's when this album popped up.
Yeah. And I do have to shout out Brandon Musil, who got me onto this record. He let me borrow his CD, in which I burned it on my computer. You familiar with burning?
Admitting to crime here on the podcast.
But I then did buy it because the booklet is very cool. There's a lot of cartoon colors and stuff like that.
Oh,
so
shocking.
Yeah.
Is it Mika or Mika? Do you know for sure?
I think it's Mika.
You think it's Mika, but
I'm
you're
not positive.
Notoriously dumb. So I want to know if it's Mika or Micah.
I'm not notoriously dumb. I'm just unaware if it's positive. I would say I would put 75% on that it's Mika.
Okay, so should we bet $10,000?
No, sure not. I think I have $45 in my account right now, so we're gonna go with no on $10,000. And then you just made me lose my train of thought. So fuck you very much.
It's so easy.
Okay, so that's the backstory of me and this record. Yeah, I want to hear your hate. I actually didn't know. I thought this could either go, because you surprise me sometimes. There was one time we were in the van, and I was it was when not in the van, in that rental car that I had. We were driving to Greensburg.
Mm-hmm.
I had my liked songs on Spotify on shuffle. A new Paul McCartney song comes out, and you notoriously don't like the Beatles.
True.
You're like, oh my God, what is this? This is great. I just want to say, new Paul McCartney. It's a good song. I enjoy it. But for a Beatles hater, I would go as far as to say, to enjoy a new Paul McCartney song, that's fucking insane to me.
It's because it didn't sound like Paul McCartney.
So that's where I'm at with you. So I was like, okay, if he likes that, maybe he'll like the Mika record.
So first thing is 7 million monthly listeners for Mika on Spotify. 7 million.
Yeah.
Insane numbers for an artist, honestly, that I'd never heard of.
Right.
So do you listen to current day Mika before we get into this first terrible album?
So there's a couple songs that have come up like on Spotify. And I obviously just because I've listened to this record, and they're good. I think I tried sitting down and listening to it, and it just didn't have the same thing for me. They're not, it's not bad. He's obviously a really good uh, songwriter. I think. Are you
I th-
frozen? Oh, there
so
you are.
I will say the songs are well written, but I also feel like they're engineered, right? There's something sort of off-puttingly fake about everything.
You think
It
so?
just yeah, it feels like modern country in the way that, okay, here's how you construct a modern country song, and now make 10 of those, and now you have an album. This album feels like it was made in like from a drop of Charlie Thornton's bathroom floor, and then they put it in a petri dish, and then they grow this organism like a horror
Ah,
movie.
that's
That's
actually
how
it's like a horror movie. Gotcha. I can see that, and obviously, when I was listening, when this hit me, like I said, I was like 17 years old in high school. Um, I don't know. There's like happy vibes to this,
right.
but there's also very depressing things. I kind of love the roller coaster that it takes you on, which I guess
And
it
I think
doesn't.
yeah, I think
It
that's
goes
my
to what you're
point.
saying. Yeah, yeah.
That's my point, right? But it tries so hard to be upbeat, but also relaxed and also emo. Like it tries so hard to do all of these things that it strikes me as a little bit disingenuous. So first of all, Lollipop is a fucking terrible song.
I will give you
Lollipop
that.
can
Lollipop is
die.
actually the one song that I probably skip every time that we I listen to. You're not into sucking too hard on a lollipop?
It's awful. It's so awful. And then the other one is Big Girl. Like it's such a cringe lyric, and it's just like, oh, this is why try so hard to be like fake empathetic? It's
I
so
I feel like I agree with you on that song. It's very like, "Hey girl, you can do anything," which we're not the demographic for that, so we're not going to love it.
right.
But it is funny because when you say that, those are the two songs that I'm like, I could live with them, live without them, you know. But I think those are probably two songs that you know made commercials and shit like that.
Yeah.
They're probably the most, I guess, commercial. Um,
But
and
do you like Happy Ending, the song Happy Ending?
I think Happy Ending is maybe the best song on this record.
So I wrote my notes so you can see. My
Yes.
notes say Happy Ending, hate.
You hate that song.
yes.
Why do you hate that song? You don't. Okay. Actually, I want to hear why you hate it first.
Because there's nothing of substance there, right? It's just an empty suit of a song.
I don't agree with that at all. What do you mean it's an empty suit of a song?
I think it's the same criticism that I have of many of the songs on here is it tries so hard to be something substantial that it misses the mark. There's nothing genuine about it. Like when I listen to a Radar song, like again to prop up a band who I actually don't like all that much, but Radar Waves.
Yes.
Like if I listen to one of your songs, honestly, there's a vibe, there's an emotion that comes through. But especially for a song like Happy Ending, it's trying so hard to make you feel something at the end of the record. It's just like, dude, fuck off.
But that's not the last song on the record.
Yeah, I know, but still.
Actually, I think it was, and then the other one was like the last one is like a hidden track. You know how they did CDs back in the day.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't agree with it. Maybe it's because what I was feeling when I first heard the song, a broken-hearted 17-year-old young man. You know, but I also love the like. It's a slow build song, so you get into the that chorus of people singing and stuff like that.
Right.
And I feel like it's hard to. So what you're saying, this is how I know you're dead inside too, is like like you can feel even. I mean, Mika, if you're saying that Mika is the one who's not putting forth the emotion, you can't say that chorus is not, because it's like every time that you hear a chorus like that or a choir.
Yeah, is it a real chorus or is it just constructed in a studio?
In 2006 when it was recorded, come on. I know we live in AI times.
The engineer just pressed the button and now suddenly we have a bunch of voices.
Yeah, but this is also a major label, which they had the money to get, They're
I
putting
guess.
all of their, and it worked out
I
because it's got
mean,
7 monthly
typical
just
fanboy, like, no, this is you're like on Elon Musk's jock. I know how much you love Elon Musk as well, and
big Elon Musk fan, yeah.
you're the same with Mika.
Yeah, there's a cult following for Mika in the same way that there is Elon Musk. No, I'm not. I listen. I love one record that this guy put out. If I was a hardcore Mika guy, maybe I would get on you about that. There's other acts that I probably will do that for you, but this is the one I'm gonna die on a hill for.
There is one song that I in my notes again. I wrote only one I sort of like was my note for this song. Any idea which song that is?
Let's take a look at the track listing here.
Yeah.
You didn't
I'll
like
give you three guesses.
So Lollipop is out. Would it be Over My Shoulder?
It is not Over My Shoulder.
What did you think of Over My Shoulder?
I didn't make a note, so forgettable.
I was going to go into that a little bit more, but I guess not. What about Any Other World?
I think that's the one that reminded me of Queen a bit.
Okay. I really
Which
like
isn't a bad thing, but then I'll just listen to Queen. So fuck you, Mika.
Wow. I think Mika could actually whoop your ass.
You think?
If we got a fight going, Mika would absolutely whoop your ass. And I'd be on his corner. I'd be like, yeah.
You know how strong I am, so.
You lost to Bree in an arm wrestling match.
It's true.
Geez, I don't know. I went for the sad songs.
One more guess.
Shit. I don't even have a good guess. I'm going to say Relax, Take It Easy.
No. Love Today is the only one that I kind of like.
Really?
Yep.
You surprise me sometimes. Because that's like one of my, it's not a bad song, but it's not one of my favorites on there. Interesting.
Because that one like sort of feels genuine. Relax,
Take It Easy feels genuine.
No, Love Today.
Or Love Today, sorry.
Yeah.
All right. What are the lyrics to that one? Everybody's gonna love today, gonna love today, gonna love today.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. So on a star scale, 5 stars, what are you giving Life in Cartoon Motion?
So just overall.
Front to back. What are you giving it?
I'm going to give it 2 stars. Also, what do you think of the song Grace Kelly?
Dude, that chorus cooks.
Yeah, it's actually, I agree. Also,
you can't fuck with that chorus. I'll fight you for that. Yeah, I think that might have been singles. Oh, here's the singles. It's got, Jesus Christ, they had 6 singles for this. Grace Kelly was the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Love Today.
There you go.
Number 2. Look at you. Wow. You're the man. You've become corporate America. All the ones that you thought, oh man, what a fucking this guy runs a punk label. What a fucking phony. Number 3 is Big Girl, You Are Beautiful. 4 is Happy Ending. 5 is Relax, Take It Easy. And number 6, your favorite, is Lollipop.
Ugh.
So would you take this Lollipop over Lil Wayne's Lollipop?
I don't think I've heard Lil Wayne's Lollipop.
What? That's another song that probably came out in like 2006, 7-ish.
So, I don't know that I've ever heard a Lil Wayne song ever. I know that he's like a shredder guitar player, right? Is that him? Is that who?
Yeah, I think he did. We should review his rock record. That would be amazing. I think he put out a rock record. But the music video for that's pretty funny because he's like holding the guitar and you can clearly tell he's like never held one in his entire life.
Yeah, shredder.
Yeah, Grace Kelly's really great. Do you have any more questions for me about this record since I was the one who brought this up?
So again, I'm interested in your mindset, right? So you're a broken-hearted 17-year-old. So quite literally some of the worst people in the world, a broken-hearted 17-year-old boy, right? Just horrible to be around.
You always find a way to completely. Did you hear my episode with Trev? We opened it up talking about how you are a fucking absolute dick when it comes to just describing someone, a brokenhearted kid is now on the list of we were talking about the podcast, how you were like, oh yeah, and I have so-and-so here from buttfuck Egypt, the worst place to be from ever. There's nothing to do there. Where the fuck do you get off? You live in Pittsburgh, dude. It's fun. It's a good time, but it's not the be all end all.
It is. It is. And Pittsburgh has nothing to do with you being a sad sack 17-year-old fucking laying around your bedroom being a turd, right? So that's how I imagine you were, because that's how 17-year-old boys are when they get their hearts broken, and that's kind of how you are now, quite honestly.
Oh, you think I'm basically the same as a brokenhearted 17-year-old boy, as a 33-year-old man.
So my point is,
with a huge cock. Anyway, go on.
My point is, would this album have resonated with you if you didn't hear it at this moment in your life? Like, how important is the time for the record?
I think it's helpful, but like I said before, I think there's a lot of, when you're young and looking or trying to stay in with like a clique. Back then I was playing in a band, and you listen to what everybody else is listening to, and you don't necessarily delve out of your comfort zone because, hey, all the cool kids are listening to this. I think that this was one record for me that was like, hey, I should probably not just listen to, put myself in a box here. But you can make fun of me for this. I fucking like Coldplay. What are you going to do about that?
Nothing. I don't think about Coldplay, so whatever.
You don't like any Coldplay ever?
I don't know that I really know any Coldplay, honestly. I just find it, if I know that I've heard it, I probably have found it boring.
Yeah.
And nothing else. So I'm not going to waste my energy on Coldplay. So last thing about the time. So was this the time when you were actively trying to be Travis Barker on the drums?
Yeah, this was probably in the heat of Travis Barker life. So, but yeah, so this one is, as I could probably name a couple other, obviously Coldplay comes to mind, but this is definitely in that list of bands, or I guess artists, that got me out of listening to basically the same shit that the scene I was in or the group of friends that I was in was listening to at the time. So I think it was like a kind of a perfect storm with me being a broken heart, shitty 17-year-old kid. And that. So that's where I like. Did you have any of that? Or were you like, no, man, I'm going to stay looking cool all the time and listen to the same fucking 4 albums when I'm 17?
I listened to a lot of hair metal when I was in high school. So there you go.
Yeah, you listen to a lot of hair metal now, too. It's really frustrating, actually. You're going to give me shit for this.
I actually don't listen to that much hair metal now. But when I was in high school, for sure. Now I would listen to prog. I like prog. You know that.
Oh, boy, do I. One time we went from Pittsburgh to Connecticut, and it was the same song that played for the 13 hours. 13-hour song. It was ridiculous.
It's just not true. It's just not true.
Yeah, the song's still playing, too. That was 4 years ago.
What a dick.
Okay. On a star scale, listening to it when I was 17, I would have given it a full 5.
And now?
And today I probably give it like closer to 3.54 area.
Okay.
So, which is, I'm looking at these scores too. Let's see some of these places. So AllMusic gave it 3.5, Blender gave it 4, The Guardian gave it 4, Mojo gave it 3, The Observe gave it 4, Pitchfork 1.5 out of 10. That is
well, because Pitchfork is like a punk indie whatever.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So that
Q. I don't know what Q is. QAnon thought this album was a 3 out of 5. Rolling Stone gave it a 3, and Spin gave it 3.5.
Nice. So I mean,
pretty much
you're in the middle of corporate America. So congratulations. Well done.
Yeah, says the guy who picked his fucking favorite 2 songs are the 2 first singles. Go fuck yourself.
Saying they're my favorite two songs is stretching. They're the two best songs on a shitty record.
They're the two favorite songs that you out of this that you would listen to.
I will never listen to them again. I can tell you that.
Not when I'm driving, I'm playing this shit front to back. Hey, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna play Fat Bottom Girls, whatever that song is, and then the other fucking song that you don't like. I'm repeating. I don't even care for those songs that much. That's how much I hate you.
Well, I mean, it sounds like you hate yourself, so congratulations.
I don't hate I hate myself just enough to make you uncomfortable. So that's where we're at.
Thanks a lot for this, Charlie. I can't wait for the next one.
Yeah. Well, this is the most controversial one, I believe. I feel like the next two on my list are more rock based. This was the outlier, I feel like, out of every single record that we have on
Are we going to spin now here at the end of episode whatever?
Yeah,
number
we could.
So that we know what we're doing.
Yeah, so for this, do we want to, like, we do one of these a month and then
sure.
So this will be for next time?
Sure.
Okay.
Let
me get the randomizer.
Can't wait.
Bitch.
Weak sauce. Also,
I haven't eaten today.
Sounds like something the Iron Sheik would burp up.
What the fuck does that even mean?
I don't know. I was just trying to name a wrestler.
Dude, sometimes your insults are so great, and sometimes they fall so flat. It sounds like something the Iron Sheik. Oh my god, unreal. Okay, let me share my screen. All right, to remind everyone what not that. What the fuck? What albums we are doing. Again, Paul pulled the fast one on me. Is it up? Okay. And we have Dance Humans by Garage League, Flux by Poppy, This Is Landing by Dave Rokas, Whatever Happened to PJ Souls by Local H, and Line Up by Johnny and the Razorblades. Are you ready to spin?
Let's spin it.
All right. Here we go. I hope it's another one of mine.
No, it's going to be Rokas.
We are doing Dave Rokas next. Good friend of the show. Even the internet is cheering for him.
That's nice, yeah.
So yeah, This Is Landing. Next month, we will be doing a review in full of this. I feel like it'll be a little bit more positive in both of our eyes.
But also we know Dave really well, so we can also talk a fair amount of shit, I feel like.
Yeah. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I will leave no man in my path. I will kill people.
Something the Iron Sheik says.
Yes, Iron Sheik. All right. Is that it? Is that all you have to say about Mika today?
That is it. I will never ever think of Mika again in my life. So
until I fall in love with the sophomore album, and then we have to review that.
Yeah, great. Looking forward to it.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for listening to What Is the Podcast? What is the podcast?
What is the podcast?
What is the podcast?
No idea.
You can get all of these episodes early at patreon.com/CHALLZ. Please follow us on our YouTube, like, subscribe, all that good stuff.
Woohoo.
Paul, anything you'd like to say before we sign off here?
Nope. Charlie's stupid.
All right. Well, he's been wrong about that record, so clearly he's wrong about that statement. We will see you next time. Thanks for stopping by.